Sponsored by Paperlike.
It expands. That's actually kind of neat. Wow, that is actually kind of cool. What is going on, everybody? It is Mike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm really glad that you're with me today because we are going to unbox and set up the brand new M2 iPad Pro. This is the 6th generation M2 with 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage in 5G. I'm going to unbox it, set it up, and get some initial impressions of whether or not I like it compared against my M1 iPad Pro. So let's get right into it. Now, this version that I have here was purchased directly from Apple. And like I mentioned, it is the 12.9 inch, so it's got the mini LED display with 600 nits of brightness for typical conditions, 1000 nits brightness for mixed conditions, and then 1600 nits of brightness for full screen HDR, which is the same exact specs as the M1 iPad Pro. Now, a lot of people are under the impression that the M2 iPad Pro is an incremental upgrade, and I would say that's not an incorrect statement. The last time that this was upgraded was in May of 2021, and then before that it was March of 2020. So it's about every 18 months. So this is the 4th full year, so 2018, 2020, 2021, 2022, that we are on this design. And not that it's a bad design or it's ugly, but it does, we're lucky to have just a little bit of a difference. So here's that big device. Let's see what Apple's putting inside the packaging today. We have the 20-watt charger. We have, that's a braided cable, I think. This is the instructions. I'm really interested to see how the Apple Pencil and the hover functionality works with the Apple Pencil, because that looks kind of cool. Though, I don't think it's really worth upgrading just from an M1 iPad Pro for that. There's a couple other specs that are updated. So it has the M2. It's about 15% increase in CPU performance. It has 10-core GPU, which is about a 20% increase, if I remember correctly, in GPU performance. Depending on where you're coming from, it should be quite a sizable upgrade. But again, the answer is always going to be depends, because if you can understand what the possibilities are and how this might save you time. Yep, this is braided for sure. This is great. Wow, I'm glad that they're doing the braided cable on all their devices, and hopefully they do that with, they did it with the iPhone this year. That is right. I forgot about that. So that's cool. Got the 20-watt charger here. Now that we have it unboxed, let's talk about what I want the M2 iPad Pro to improve on in comparison to the M1 iPad Pro. The M2 iPad Pro, I'm hoping that there is a 2nd generation mini LED panel in there that improves the efficiency of the panel. The battery life on the M1, while it was good, it was nowhere near 10 hours of screen on time. And I maybe got like 5 or 6. So I'm hoping that if there is a new panel in here, it does have better efficiency, which will lead to better battery life. Second, I hope that if there's a new panel, it does improve at least some of the blooming issues that we saw with the M1 when you're watching high contrast content. And the third thing I wanted to improve is going to be the image signal processor for the front-facing camera. If you are in anything less than perfect light, this image can look a little soft, and you'll probably notice that on any other device that has a front-facing camera and center stage because of the crop factor that it does in there. So let's unwrap this bad boy. I love that sound. So this year I did go with silver instead of space gray. To change it up a little bit. Now, I did order a brand new Magic Keyboard that is supposed to be compatible with the 6th generation, but I also have my previous one, which should be compatible as well. There are no differences in terms of weight or size, so that should work as well. Now, while we are waiting for this to set up, what is the feature that you're hoping to take advantage of, or that you're hoping to get out of the new M2 iPad Pro if you've already bought it, or if you're even considering buying it? Let me know down in the comments below, because I think that this is, again, depending on where you're coming from and what device it is, it could be a worthy upgrade. Wow, time to transfer. If I want to transfer content from my iPad directly from another iPad, is 2 hours and 25 minutes compared to 15 minutes. Okay, how about no? That's a long time. I don't want to do that. That's a way long time. Now, while I'm waiting for the iPad to finish downloading iPadOS 16.1, which is interesting all in itself, I want to say thank you to today's channel sponsor, Paperlike, which is a brand new product, the Paperlike 2.1, which improves the viewability of the Paperlike product while it's on your iPad. Now, if you don't know what Paperlike is, it is a screen protector for your iPad Pro, iPad mini, for all really your devices, that improves the writability, the precision and control while using your Apple Pencil on your iPad. And again, they have a brand new product which improves the viewability of your iPad. And I'll put the link down in the description below in case you want to pick one of those up. And again, thank you Paperlike for sponsoring today's video. So we have the new iPad set up. I was able to restore it from my previous iPad, and I have a second angle here where you should be seeing the screen of the iPad. Yeah, that's working right. So first thing, I wanted to see what it is like on Wi-Fi 6E, and in case you're not familiar with what Wi-Fi 6E is, it is support for 802.11ax at 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz bands. So you should be able to get faster throughput. Now I have it open here. Let's see here, and I'm able to download at almost a megabit. Almost a gigabit. So I'm at 780 megabits for downlink. The uplink is slower than expected, but I've been having trouble, I think, with my uplink for the past week or two. So it's at 170, which is in line with what my other devices see. I think it should be symmetrical, so I should be able to get 780 both ways. So that is something that it's wrong with my internet router at this point. Thanks AT&T a lot, I appreciate that. But either way, speed is fantastic. So if you were coming from an older iPad that does not have support for 802.11 AX or AC, this is going to be a big upgrade, assuming that you have the infrastructure, because you need to have special routers that would support it. The routers that I'm using are Eero Pro 6E for my backhaul, and I have gigabit Ethernet. That's why I decided to go with these ones. That will give me better throughput. So that is definitely way better than it was on the previous iPad. And let's see if I can run this same test here. I got 200 megabits down. In comparison to the other device, I got almost 780 down, which is a significant difference depending on how many devices you have on your network and the congestion. 4 times the amount of bandwidth is a pretty good update, just all things being considered. Let's take a look here at the front-facing camera. So I'm going to open up the camera on the iPad. I'm going to switch you around. Video. Okay. So the front-facing camera is using the same camera hardware, and just by the look of it, I see that the image quality looks different. So we're going to do a little sample video here. Hi, this is Mike. It is now 4:15 p.m. We're doing a FaceTime sample, or a front-facing camera sample, with the iPad 6th generation. This is a camera sample, iPad 6th generation. Hi, this is Mike. It is now 4:15 p.m. We're doing a FaceTime sample, or a front-facing camera sample, with the iPad 6th generation. This is a camera sample, iPad 6th generation. Now I'm going to take the same iPad here. I'm just going to place it over the area, if that will work. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, well, good. I don't think they're using the same camera hardware because it's a much different field of view than it is on the other device. Hi, this is Mike. It is 4:16 p.m., roughly about a minute later, and we're doing a FaceTime, or front-facing camera test, with the iPad Pro 5th generation. Hi, this is Mike. It is 4:16 p.m., roughly about a minute later, and we're doing a FaceTime, or front-facing camera test, with the iPad Pro 5th generation. Now, I think definitely the field of view is much different. We're going to stop this. From the front-facing camera, there seems to be a few things that I noticed that are different. There seems to be more detail on the iPad 6th generation and less softness on that device as well. And they're both in, that's the wide angle. The wide angle looks pretty good, right? Think so? Yeah, the wide angle looks pretty good. See the second camera. I think it just looks different. So if you take a lot of FaceTime calls or take a lot of video calls, this might be something that is actually going to interest you. Here, okay. Attach the pencil. So let's see, let's look at this reminder, and you just get a little close. Wow, that is actually kind of cool. So first, when you have the Apple Pencil and you kind of hover over the app, you see that the app enlarges, and this is just what it looks like on the Apple TV. So as you move your cursor from app to app, the cursor that you are focusing on is presented larger, and then the other apps stay the same. So it gives you a nice visual indication of where you are in the operating system, or where you are on the screen. So it doesn't work on widgets, or at least it doesn't appear to work in the widgets. So like I can see the widget get bigger, but I can't click on the individual tiles or make them get bigger. It doesn't work that way. We'll do a blooming test. I think it looks pretty good, but I want to compare it against the 2021 iPad Pro as well. Now, if I'm looking at this, I might shut this light off right here. So it's possible, hear me, possible that there is less artifacting or halo effect on this panel here. I am going to do more tests, so if you want to see that, make sure you are subscribed, because I will do those tests later on after using the iPad for another day or so. But it does look good. It does look good. So we're all set up. I really like the way that the pencil performs when you are navigating through the operating system. I don't have, or I can't find at least too many apps that are able to take advantage of it. At least I didn't see it in Pixelmator or in Photoshop. But let me know what questions you have down in the comments below. My name is Mike, and I hope you're subscribed, because I'm going to do more tests with this, including more video tests for the front-facing and the rear-facing camera, in addition to blooming tests and speaker tests. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.